Let's talk about ClassroomApp. ClassroomApp is our learning management system. You'll hear us call it our LMS. When we first started piloting it, for those of you that are familiar, it was called Z-School, but it has since become ClassroomApp. That just made more sense because it kind of helps people understand more about what it is. And I want to just talk about the basics of ClassroomApp, or an LMS, if you will, and kind of navigate you around a teacher's dashboard. The reason you need a learning management is because if you are a one-to-one school district, then you have to eventually have just if nothing else, a landing spot where all of your different applications and software titles, your students, your communication, all of that really needs to be coming from one place eventually. We're working towards that. So it's the digital school. Kids walk in the front door of the digital school just like they do the front door of the physical school. So in a learning management, that's where students will first go to log in to access that class for the day, and the teacher will have what is going to be going on in the classroom that day. Well, with ClassroomApp, you can also monitor your kids' screens so that they're not only accessing what you have for them, but you're accessing their screen and pointing them to different sites and places so that you can manage them as well. And it can do so much more than that, but let's go ahead and take a look. You saw that I clicked on my apps on my toolbar. We push this app. This is what it used to be. This is what it is now. If you're on a Chromebook, then you'll click your little apps launcher down in the bottom left, and when you click on all apps, you should see it, or it should actually be at the top of your list. So let's click it. It is designed to take over your screen. I need to actually log in as a teacher. Thank you, Christy Williams, for sacrificing yourself and letting us use your account information. And if it takes you back to that screen, give it a second and it'll bump you on over to your dashboard. So this is the dashboard. I have my courses, which that's coming from Infinite Campus. So whatever my classes and sections are in campus is what they will be in here. My applications, these are just a list of the things. This should look just like your Clever dashboard to an extent. And this is where you can manage which ones you see that pop up in your list to add them to your classes. More on that in just a second. Your classroom, that's where you expand your courses and you actually see your students here. And you can come into your classroom from this screen or from your course. And then of course, here's the ClassroomApp browser. And the browser is a safe browser where kids can get in it and you can actually see their screens, and then you can force them to certain websites. So when you're doing instruction, instead of using your smartboard, for example, just you use your screen and you force them to websites so that they're looking at their screen as well. This is designed for a one-to-one classroom. This, of course, is your Clever dashboard, just a quick link there. I'm not sure that this will always be here because we're hoping to push the Clever dashboard to the back end so that you only add apps to your courses or classes that you need for that week or that day. Clever's not going away. We just want you to use the learning management eventually. And then your code is where you go to create codes for people to access your courses and workspaces that aren't already in there. So let's go to my courses. As you can see, These are all of this teacher's, these are all of her courses. Homeroom, social studies, language arts, reading. And then My Space is where you have just a personal workspace that you can copy things to, and then you can create a code for it, and you can have other teachers come and look at your workspace and they can copy things from there, or you don't have to share it with anyone else. Totally up to you. So let's go into social studies. So it says nothing's here, which is correct, but what we want to do is add, let's say that I'm planning for next week's classes. I want to come in here and I want to add the things that I know we're going to be working on. So I added a document because that's actually going to be my agenda that they can read through and know what we're going to be working on for the week. That way when they're at home, they can see that and they can know what's coming and they can know what they're supposed to be doing. Or if they're out sick, they can access this if they have internet access. So let's go down to application. And those applications that you turned on to have access to, you can turn them on or off so that this list gets longer or shorter. You can actually go ahead and add those, and then you toggle them on for kids to see. So if you know that you want them to access this the whole week or that first day, go ahead and toggle it on. Same for the document. If you know you're going to use it that week, but not actually use it until the end of the week, then you add it and then you just toggle it off. The toggling on and off of this green one means that it's going to show up in the student's dashboard or their course dashboard or page. Okay, I need to add a few more applications that I know I'm going to be using. We are actually going to be using Google Classroom. And then I can search up here as well if I know that there's something. Study Island, and it populates and it makes that searching a little bit faster. Code.org I know I want to use as well. And then I also need to be working on a test. ClassroomApp does have its own testing platform now, and it's very much like Edulastic. You can track progress. It populates reports for each student, and it's all happening inside of ClassroomApp. Okay, so these are the things I know I want that off. I'm only going to turn code.org on when we make some progress in class and we get to that point. I'm going to keep Google Classroom on, of course, and then BrainPop and Study Island I'm going to keep on. Here's the browser. If I want kids to go to a particular website, I navigate to that website myself. And of course, I've made sure that you should auto connect to your kids through the My Classroom feature. But if I want them to go to this website, I navigate to it, and then every student that I'm connected to, once I click force, it's going to, and it says that I don't have any students connected, of course, because we're not in session, but it'll force every single student to this page. And when I click follow, it's going to force them to follow me from page to page wherever I go. And then when I click that again, it releases them so that I can let them go on their own. And then once I want to get out of my browser and I know that they're working and they're using the internet, I can go into My Classroom. And of course, all these students will be online and connected. I can actually I can look at their status and I can look at their screens. So when I click on screens, it will show me a small snapshot of every screen in my class. We did test this over the summer. It is working splendidly, so we're excited to see this implemented in classrooms this year. So basically this course page for each of your classes This is your teacher playground. This is where you add anything and everything you need them to have, and they access it from their course dashboard as well. But they're doing all of this in the protected environment of the LMS where you can always see their screen and what's going on. We will have other videos on how to use ClassroomApp that will go into detail about how to make student groups inside of classes. We'll go into more detail about My Classroom, and go into more detail about the options that you have here in your, excuse me, what each of these different things do, especially the chat, the blog, the testing, the PBL Go application or PBL Go software, Google integration. We'll do videos on those separate things. This was just a basics getting started. So please use this. It's very, very user-friendly. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to us so that we can help you get started with ClassroomApp.